Hi, I'm Jennifer from the Worcester branch of the Wayne County Public Library, and today I'd like to share with you a craft that fits in with our summer reading program theme, Oceans of Possibility. And that is going to be a dolphin hand-stitched card. Now what you're going to need for this will be cardstock, and you're just going to be cutting your usual 8.5 by 11 piece of paper or piece of cardstock in half this way so that you get 2 cards and fold them in half. There will also be a pattern. This is going to be a take and make kit, so the pattern will come with it. You need a beading awl or a regular awl, as well as probably a piece of cardboard so you can punch the holes. You'll need embroidery floss, and I've got blue for the dolphin's body and white for the waves. Needle, embroidery scissors, and then also tape and regular scissors, because like with our previous hand-stitched cards, we're going to tape the ends of the embroidery floss down on the back of the card instead of knotting it so that you don't have the extra bulk. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. Now the first thing that you would do with a card is, once you've got it folded, cut out the paper pattern and lay it over one side of the card, put it on your cardboard, and then you can punch the holes following the pattern, and those are going to give you your stitching holes. Now this takes some time to do, it gets a little noisy, so I have already done that. And I've got my needle threaded and ready to go. And what I'm going to do first is the body of the dolphin. Now, if you look closely, you can see that we're going from one point to another and then back, and it's crossing over here in the middle, and that gives it a little more of a 3D sort of effect to it. So we'll start with that, and then we can go back and deal with all of the simpler stitches. So the first one is going to be in this hole here. You can see the dolphin's snout and the mouth. So we want this hole to start with, and that's going to be this big one right here. So I'm just going to pull that through. And I'm going to leave a bit of a tail here so that I can tape it down. And secure it in place. And then what we want to do is to come over to, let's see, it looks like this hole here. So that's going to be this hole. And we'll go ahead and pull that through. And then you go up through the next hole. And you come back to the hole one step ahead of your previous one. And then we're just going to go back and forth that same way until the dolphin's body is filled in. Okay, so we've got the body of the dolphin filled in, and this has brought us back up to the top. So what I can do now is fill in this top fin. And I am going to start over here. Now, as you'll see in the pattern, there are some just straight stitches, but then there are a couple where you're getting more of a V. And I did that because the original pattern had more holes through here so that all of them would be straight lines, but they were so close together that when I would push the needle through, the hole would break into the next hole. So I've modified the pattern so that you still have all of these lines for the fin, but some of them are going to be coming back down to the same hole. So here's what that'll look like. So you see the first two were straight lines. This one's going to be a V, so I'll go up to this hole, move over one hole, but I'm coming down to the same one to create that V. And then I'll move over one hole and do the same thing again. And then the last one is just a simple straight stitch. Okay, so that's the body and the top part. I'm going to go ahead and tape this down and then start again in another spot. So this time, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the tail fin. And here again, if we look at the one I've already made, in this case, all of them are going to be V's except this middle line. So I've started at one of these 5 dots, and I'm going to go down to the first dot on this end of things, come up one, go back down to the same dot, move over to the next dot. Uh-oh. It's a little tricky rethreading this when I'm so far down to the end of my thread, but we're going to go ahead and use up as much of it as we can. All right, so that is the end of that thread, and we've got the tail done as well. This time I'm going to start. See, these waves I've done in blue before, and then these little white caps I've done in white. So I think what I'm going to do is start over here, do this part of the belly, do the bottom, the belly fin, the rest of the belly, and then come over here and finish it up. So we'll just start here at this first hole. And we're just back to doing some straight stitches. So I think what I might do, I could go over and come back, but since I want to keep going this way, I'm just going to do this. I'm trying just to go one hole at a time, and sometimes that means I have to back step a bit. It's perfectly fine. You do it however it's going to work for you. Remember, I'm not going to follow you home and make sure you're doing it exactly as I do it, because you may have found a better way to do it, and I'm not going to stop you from doing it. All right, so there are those waves. Now we want to start here at the same place where I started the body, only this time we're going to go this way. All right, so we've got the snout done. I'll just keep on going. Now at this point, we've got where we're going to put in this fin. So I'm going to come up that hole. And this first one is just one line, but the next ones are V's. Uh-oh. And then we can finish up the belly with this straight, almost an outline stitch. And since the dolphin is all done, we can go ahead and finish up the waves. And this is a bit of a longer reach between holes, but it's just fine. We're going to make it work. And this time I think what I'm going to do is stitch out and bring it back. And I'll show you. Up one, up the next, down the next, up the next, down the next, up, and then come back. Just to show you a different way you can do this. And since the blue's all done, I'll just go ahead and use the tape to secure that thread and trim it. All right, so we've got that much done. And now we're going to do the little white caps. And with these, let's see, that focused. All right, there are 4 holes on each side of each white cap. So we're going to start in the bottom left for this row of 4, and we're going to come up to the top on the right-hand row. Go down, well, actually, skip over to the next hole, come up, come over to the second, come up the third, go down the third, come up the fourth, go down the fourth. So we're thinking of them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 coming down. And I'll show you how that goes. So let's go ahead and run our floss through the first hole. And secure it with the tape, maybe. There we go. All right, so we're up the first hole. We're going to go over to the first hole from the top on the other side. And then we're coming up that second hole from the top, going over to the second hole from the bottom. And then we would just repeat it for these other two as well. When you're done, go ahead and secure the end with the tape, trim it, and your card is going to be pretty much finished. The only thing you might want to do is to cut a piece of paper that would cover the back of the stitching, because it does look a little bit messy, and if you want to have more space to write to someone, covering it up with the piece of paper is definitely going to help. So that's our dolphin hand-stitched card. Like I said, I'm going to put together some take and make kits for you to register for and take home and play with this summer. You can find the information about when that's going to happen. I believe it's in early July. Go to the library's webpage, go to the calendar of events, and find the take and make kit for the hand-stitched dolphin card and go ahead and sign up. You will get the instructions, you'll get the pattern, a picture of what it's supposed to look like, a little more of a visual representation of how to do the stitching, as well as the link to this video so you can come back and work your way through it along with me. In the meantime, I hope you stay healthy, be kind, and get creative this summer. Bye-bye.